and we're just about set for Nunzio's general interest story, and it concerns our gun-loving brothers. They're on the other side of the Pacific Ocean.
Yeah, thanks, JT. I just thought I'd make some comments about this. That our Prime Minister Turnbull's over there and creating quite a fair bit of debate in the States about Australia's gun laws and whether they'd work there or not. I must say, I've always had a pretty flippant attitude towards the American gun laws. It's whatever they want to do, I guess. And I think the Second Amendment is I always just say it's the right to arm bears, because they can arm anything else over there in America, so why not bears? But looking at a bit of history around this, America has a very different history to us in Australia. They were born out of civil war and a lot of wars over there. So I can sort of understand why the amendment was in there in the first place. Here in Australia, we haven't had any such birth. Had a very different one.
Yeah, well, really the closest we've had was the Eureka Stockade.
Exactly, and that was contained and yeah, it was localised. But that's right. But I guess, and we're very lucky here in Australia that we just haven't had that sort of civil unrest where a lot of people have lost their lives. But look, going back to the United States, so the Second Amendment was actually written in the Constitution there as a bit of a there was a bit of discussion there. So once the war was over and the states had to sign up to the Constitution, what they were concerned about was each state's freedom and protection against the federal government, thinking that at some stage the federal government might come in and do something to the states that the states didn't want done. So the idea was that the amendment reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. So it really was about each state being able to have a militia and the right of those people in the militia to bear arms. It wasn't until 2008 that it was actually changed to anybody in the state could bear arms. And that was done because of some legal discussions around, what is a militia? And militia is really made up of non-military people who rise and protect whatever they need to protect. So that's the history of it. Interestingly enough, when the Black Panthers decided to take the Constitution literally and started to bear arms in public, just like any other American citizen was able to do, the governor at the time of one of the states, Ronald Reagan, changed the law to say you actually couldn't carry loaded guns in the state or in public.
That would have been California.
Yeah, that's right, exactly. Yeah, and so it is an interesting debate, and I think it's hard for me to understand it because of the history of Australia and given that I was born and brought up here, but I can understand that coming out of the conflict in America, that there was something like this in the Constitution.
Yeah, they're a very funny people sometimes, the Americans. You just can't understand them.
No, that's right. But anyway, I don't condone, obviously, the mass shootings and everything else, and something needs to get done. But I just thought I'd talk a bit about the Second Amendment and what it means to them.